Hello everyone. For today's video, we are in Headwaters State Forest in North Carolina. We're going to be checking out possibly 3 waterfalls. The first one being Graveley Falls. And then I think the second one is going to be East Fork Falls or Reese Place Falls. I can't remember which order they exactly they're in as far as being close to each other, but those are the names of the 3 that we're going to attempt to get to. There is a fair amount of snow on the ground today, so this will be a good winter hike, I'm thinking. Today's date is January 22nd. A week or so ago, not exactly sure what this area got, but back home I got 6 to 7 inches, so it was probably a 9 to 10 at least here, I would say. And back in the woods here, it appears a lot of it's probably still going to be on the ground. But currently it's about 31, 32 degrees. I think the high today is expected to be around 40 in this area. I think we've got about a mile to hike to this one and then a mile back, as this All Trails is telling me it's 2 miles round trip. So we're going to start by going across this little bridge here through the woods and around the gate. And there'll be an information sign up here just ahead. So we're going to get started there. This is a sign here. This is technically game lands here. That is a good idea to wear your orange, or at least a bright color if possible. A lot of this is just kind of legal information, nothing very informative as to what we're about to do here. The road goes this way and the trail goes that way. So we're going to continue on. So as I mentioned before, this is game lands, but I don't think it'll necessarily be an issue with running into a bunch of hunters. Don't think there'll be an issue with that necessarily today. Not with it being quite like this. It's just my opinion though. This is my first time visiting the Headwaters State Forest area. It may be an area that you're not familiar with or haven't heard of. I haven't heard of it myself until recently. I think it's the newest. I think it's one of the newest, if not the newest, established state forest in North Carolina. It does come close to or possibly borders DuPont State Forest, which I think maybe under an hour from where I'm at here now. Maybe closer to the other waterfalls that I'll be going to visit them next. There's some trees that are sagging pretty low here. Have to crouch down and get by them. Just wanted to mention real quick, this is not an advertisement anyway. I'm not even going to tell you where I bought these, but I do have on the crampons, which have the good 1/2 inch or more spikes on them, which I would highly recommend using. And snow that's been laying around, it's been refroze several times. This would be very, very slippery and hard to navigate without that under the current conditions of this. across what appears to be some deer tracks here. Deer went off trail. So I'm just a little bit less than halfway there, I think, and I just wanted to throw it out there that this is probably due to the cold weather. There's not actually any snow or ice on these trees, but a lot of them are just hanging down here. I imagine it's because the weight of the snow before probably drooped them down that way, and it just stayed that way. So this is not too terrible of a spot right here, but there's some others back there where you had to crouch down pretty low. I've had to do that several times so far. Just something to keep in mind if you were to try and come out here in these type of conditions. Pretty clear spot right here. It's about the clearest spot I've seen without having to get down lower, but just something I wanted to mention. Moving on. We'll come to a curve here. We gotta down just a tad. Get around this tree. And then the trail continues onto it, back towards the road that way for a little bit before it curves again, I believe. So we're gonna navigate around this tree here. I think we're gonna go that way and just walk around it instead of trying to climb over it. And the trail's right to the woods there. Very nice out here so far. Haven't seen anyone else. There's a creek crossing coming up here. We're gonna straddle this right here. There's a rock just beyond it that we'll use to step across. The trees are growing on this side. Some kind of wood that's under there. I've never been here, so I don't know what this really is, but you can see some wood right there in the center of the screen. Sort of makeshift here. And they come from that way. So this is what we crossed. Looks like a full log. Two of them actually. And then there's a half a log beside the one on the right. So I just kind of straddled the top one. And then stepped down there at the end where you can see some of the snow's been moved, and then stepped across. Normally it would be very easy to get across that, but kind of had to be extra careful. The snow's shifting around underneath your feet, but definitely doable. So you'll kind of come to a Y here shortly after crossing the creek. And it appears to be a path that goes that way. There's some trees that are pushed down on it. And when it goes this way, you definitely want to go take the right here. I'm going to include the All Trails route that I'm using for this, but just pointing that out in case you don't have that. Definitely go right. So the trail runs in junction with the road here. When you get to the road, it goes left and right. Definitely want to go right. If you go left here, it's just going to take you back to the main road, which we may use that route to go back just to save some time because I'm trying to get some other hikes in the day, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So we may take that back to the road and then just take the spikes off and walk back up the road there. Save us some time. Continuing on right. Got a little bit of a stream to cross here, just kind of a step over. And I hear some people in the distance, so turns out there is someone else here. Starting to hear the water now. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but gonna be getting pretty close. It's a pretty peaceful walk so far. We passed the one family, and that's all I've seen. Alright, we're making a little final stretch down here to where you get a view of it. It's right down in there through the trees. The trail loops around and kind of brings you out in front of it. Very nice. I'd say this one's probably 20 to 25 foot tall. A little bit of snow on the right side of it. Some on the left is kind of covered up by the trees. It's got a nice pool at the bottom of it. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to the bottom, but I'm not sure if it's going to be doable today or not. This is where we're going to step down at to get a little closer. Just a little bit technical here, especially with the snow. If you do this, just be very careful. It's a very, very nice spot here. Definitely will be in the summertime too. So the water runs off there, which has a very good flow today from all the snow melting. But runs off into a pool here. It's very clear. And then it runs off down here and goes around these giant boulders and it just keeps on flowing there. Almost kind of makes you wonder if there's another drop upstream there. We're not going to find out today, but can't help but wonder. I'm gonna hang out just a minute and start to head back. So we've made it back to the road. I'm gonna stop for just a minute and take my spikes off. I'm gonna walk the stretch of the road from here back to where I parked. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here too as well. So I originally planned to include the two other waterfalls. This in Headwaters State Forest. They're the two other most known ones in this video as well, but this one kind of run a little longer than I expected. Snow. Not going to say it made it more difficult, but it does kind of slow you down just a little bit more. You can't, your steps are not just not as quick as if there weren't any snow here. But I'm gonna put those in another video, so be sure to come back and check for those later. Please subscribe if you haven't. It's totally free, no strings attached or anything like that. You'll see other hiking videos. A lot of beach related content and some what I feel like some pretty good stuff on there. Some of it's very informative. So as far as this hike, I highly recommend it, whether there's snow on the ground or not. I know I'll definitely want to return and see the waterfall, maybe possibly in the summer, where we can maybe sit down and stretch out in the water in a little pool beneath the waterfall. But I'd probably rate this one as easy. My trail app clocked it around 1.3 miles to the falls. That may be just a little bit off, but I think it's roughly 2 miles round trip. should be the same distance whether you walk the road or not, because the road runs parallel to the rest of the trail that goes through the woods and across the creek. But yep, I'll give this one a pretty good rating. I only saw 3 people here. It was just one family. So normally, you know, in a warmer setting, it'll be probably much more traffic, but a day like today, or maybe a little slightly rainy day, be a good day to come if you didn't want to encounter many people. But that's gonna do it for this one. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and again, please subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching.